The simple change that got Liverpool back to their best, and there's more to come from Keita. A return to form for Liverpool against Bournemouth. What was the key to the Reds' performance? Sear, I thought we were excellent. The first few minutes were a little nervy with the Fraser chance, but once we'd settled down and got into our stride we played some great stuff. The link-up between the likes of Firmino and Salah in the second half was something else. Great to see. I thought this was a really interesting comment from Klopp post-match. After a couple of weeks break, our counter-pressing was back today. It was there 100%. That's what we want to show, that we are a team who is able to play really good football, but if we lose the ball we must be different to all teams in the world. The counter-pressing is key, and after a couple of games where it wasn't quite right against Leicester and West Ham, it was definitely there on Saturday. We didn't give Bournemouth a moment's peace. I think that's maybe why he's gone back to the 4-3-3 system. Back to basics. That's the system that had us working so well off the ball last season. It allows the two number 8s to really push forward as well. I can see us sticking with that system for the foreseeable future now, especially in the bigger games against the likes of Bayern and United. He's obviously a player that Klopp wants to get playing his best stuff, because when he is at his best, he's going to be a huge asset for the team. I thought he had a bit of a nightmare in the first half at West Ham, but as Klopp has pointed out, he was a lot better in the second half, and that's obviously why he kept him in for Bournemouth. All about rhythm, as Klopp likes to call it. He's a player that has benefited from the return to the 4-3-3. There are pros and cons to both of the systems we've played this season. In the 4-4-1-1 you can maybe fit in a player like Shaqiri, but it makes it harder for someone like Keita to play in his favoured central position. The whole midfield dynamic on Saturday was great. I still think there's so much more to come from Keita as well. There were glimpses in pre-season of just how clever and confident he can be on the ball. Providing he stays fit, I think he'll remain in the side now, and let's hope he can get closer to his best form in the coming weeks. It will all just be about preparing for the last and most significant leg of the season. If we are planning on using this 4-3-3 again in the coming weeks, then maybe Klopp will want to work on that a bit more. Earlier in the season he wasn't too comfortable with using Fabinho as the number 6 in a midfield 3, so maybe he'll be fine-tuning things like that. It looks like it's going to be a really beneficial trip in terms of getting players fit again, too. It was great to see the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain and Brewster working with the team again on Tuesday. They're obviously not quite there yet, but they can't be too far away now. Klopp has always loved time to work on the training pitch, so I'm sure it's a trip that will stand us in good stead ahead of a really important set of fixtures. It is a worry. Klopp doesn't sound too optimistic about his chances of being fit. If he was getting closer to full fitness I think he'd be out in Marbella, but he's not. Without Gomez and Van Dijk it would obviously be ideal to have Lovren fit to partner Matip, but they won't rush him back. Fabinho has to be the most likely candidate to partner Matip if Lovren doesn't make it, and I don't think Klopp will be worried about putting him back there at all. He did well there against Brighton a few weeks back, and I think he has a lot of attributes that the manager likes in his central defenders. If Fabinho is needed at centre-back, then I'd expect Jordan Henderson to take his place in midfield. It would definitely still be a strong 11. The main thing from the game that could really work in Liverpool's favour is the injuries to Lingard and Martial. United looked a totally different side when both of them went off. Since Solskjaer has taken over, United have been at their most dangerous when playing on the counter-attack. That's how they beat Spurs a few weeks back. Whenever they got possession in their own half they looked to bomb forward with speed and expose the positioning of Spurs full-backs. You'd think that would have probably been the game plan against us as well. So if both Lingard and Martial are both missing next Sunday, then that's a huge spanner in the works for them. Sanchez still looks way off the pace, and, as clever a player as Matip is, he's not the fastest. The pair of them wouldn't carry the same threat as Lingard and Martial. I wonder whether Solskjaer would start Lukaku if both of them are out with Rashford wide. Their defense has improved in recent weeks, but I still think it looks a bit shaky at times. There was a spell after the PSG goals where United were all over the place at the back. If we can go there and settle into our game in the early stages of the match, then fingers crossed we can get a positive result. I think a win there would be absolutely massive. Gini Wijnaldum and Andy Robertson are dead good at footy. They are both so important to the team now. They were maybe seen as the unsung heroes a year ago, but they're definitely not unsung now. The pair of them were outstanding yet again on Saturday. I thought Wijnaldum was a huge miss at West Ham. Henderson was out as well that night, but Wijnaldum just brings a bit of everything to that midfield. His energy, his pressing, his strength and his decision-making on the ball is just brilliant. He can obviously play a few different roles in midfield, but I think we saw him in his best position as the number 8 on Saturday, and I'd like to see him used there more between now and the end of the season. I can see him popping up with a lot more goals if he does. The ridiculed Liverpool summer signing making a difference in Premier League title races for Robertson. He's just got the lot, hasn't he? I wouldn't swap him for any other left back at the moment. Not a chance. He's a proper Liverpool fullback. He works his socks off every single week and he has unbelievable quality. It's also great to see Alexander-Arnold back in action. Milner did well at right back, but Trent's quality on the ball was a real miss. He'll be really important in those big games in the coming weeks. Up the Reds.